So Chuck says he has the best possible news for dog fans over the final month of the season.
Yeah, UGA may be peaking, I believe. Was not a flawless, perfect, dominating, overwhelming performance against Florida. I have very little to complain about, though, from Saturday. That is a talented UF roster that, for the first time in about a year and a half, they played loose. And UGA still would have beaten them by double digits if not for Gunner at the very end there. If we look at what Georgia has coming up, this is a hell of a rebound after that Alabama game because that was at home, and you're not used to getting treated that way at home. Alabama came out from the start, put together multiple big drives early. Obviously, we know what happened in the second half, and that was kind of the send-off into the rest of this slate. Kentucky, tough game against Auburn. Tough game against Ole Miss, tough game against Florida, and that's where we sit right here ahead of the final four games. Nothing has been easy for Georgia this year. Marshall and Austin Peay don't really count. There were folks who weren't happy with the game against Austin Peay, but those are the non-conference, and you scheduled some wins. As I said, you beat Kentucky. Kentucky's not good, and they had just turned it over to Cutter Boley at that point, and you had them at home, and so it was kind of set up for Kentucky to look particularly bad. After the Alabama game, that's how you respond. And then for these next four, you're at Mississippi State, which we've already talked a little bit, referred to it. You got to be on your game. You got to go get that dub. They're just not going to hand it to you. It's Texas and Charlotte at home, and then Georgia Tech downtown. I don't know that a whole lot is going to be easy for Georgia over these final 4 weeks. The Charlotte game, they're going to be overwhelmed, and that's a done thing. The other three, I don't know that anything's going to be easy for them. This is a team, though, that appears to be getting better. Roles have been figured out. Just the brass tacks of the offensive linemen being able to get a little bit more healthy. There's a lot to be positive about in Georgia right now. 7-1, and we can go back to so many of these games saying if, and they would have 3 losses. But they don't, and that's a trait. That's something that really does matter. It's not just, they escaped. It's they make plays at the end, and whether the end is the entire second half against Alabama or the final 3 possessions against Ole Miss, that's a trait of a team. And I would love for it to be 42-0 every week, but that's not what probably college football is going to be going forward. I'll take this, a team that really looks like they're getting better.
So I could sell it to you one of 2 ways. If I'm going to sell the pro stance, I'm a lobbyist. College football's lobbyist. Here's the pro stance. Georgia's really good in close games. They know how to close out. They know how to win games.
Got guts, quarterback on it.
Make plays. You did it in comeback fashion against Tennessee. You made a big 4th down play, and then you made plays in overtime. You did it against Auburn down 10-0. You did it against Ole Miss down 9 points in the 4th quarter. Hell, you were down 20-17 with 5 minutes to go on Saturday to Florida before the Chauncey Bowens 36-yard touchdown. Here's what I will say. Watching the game, never thought they were going to lose.
Nope, not 1 minute.
Didn't that sound crazy? I never thought Florida's going to win the game, but I will add the other side if I'm lobbying on the other side. It's a dangerous way to play. It is you have the one bad break on the turnover, you have the 3rd down that doesn't go right, or you have the drop pass against Alabama from Taylor, and you don't win the game. Now, I don't know if that could be challenged before Georgia Tech. It might be, but it could certainly be challenged in the playoff. And maybe, to your point, that's how we play in college football now. There are no juggernauts. So when we get good on good, you're going to play these close games. So, yes, they'll be more prepared. That's one of those, remember in the playoffs a couple of years ago after Minnesota, the Vikings had won 13 one-score games.
And they got thumped against the Giants.
That's all I'm saying is it's a great way to live because you can tell your team we thrive in those. Scary. Very scary way to play football.
What I like is that Bowens had no experience. Now he's got experience. That Gunnar Stockton had 1 start. Now he's got, 9 starts. There are a lot of really key parts of this team that had very limited experience, especially highest level starting lineup against Tennessee for Alabama. A lot of them have that. And so that's why I'm saying I think they're peaking this final month. It shouldn't be easy for them, and we'll be able to tell if they're almost rounding into shape if they are peaking at the right time. You can't be up for 12 straight games. No. They may be peaking right now.
Here's the compliment to Kirby and this team. There is not one great thing on this team. There's not a great player. There's not a great unit. There's not a great side of the football. They're 7-1 without a great. That's very different than 2021 or 2022 when the defense was great. When there were individual things. Even in 17, when you make the run to the championship, Chubb and Sony, that's a great duo. There are things that are great. There's nothing. This offensive line they have, fine. Defensive team, okay. Quarterback, good enough, solid, makes plays in the 4th quarter. The running back group, solid. There's nothing great. and they're 7-1, so they have to play this way. It's just how it's going to be, which you hope behooves them when they get to the postseason.